It's Monday, August 8th, and this is your coffee break on the HAN network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, and we have a lot of news to catch you up on today, including an officer-involved shooting in Stratford, the tragic loss of a brave boy in Ridgefield, and much more. Frank Granito is getting ready for a big announcement later today, but he will be joining us with a Nutmeg sports update and a look at the forecast. And of course, Donald Ang will take a look back on this day in history. But first, on to today's news. This just in this morning from the Easton Courier, a jogger was struck down but was conscious after being hit by a vehicle on Route 136. Paramedics were called at about 10:40 this morning. We will keep you posted on any updates, or you can visit eastoncourier.com. And in other news today, Connecticut State Police are investigating an officer-involved shooting in Stratford and said a Bridgeport police officer is involved, according to NBC Connecticut. Police said a woman led officers on a stolen car chase from Bridgeport on Sunday and wouldn't stop. The chase finally ended in the parking lot of a junk hauling business on Seymour Street, and the officer shot at the suspect, hitting her once. She was taken to Bridgeport Hospital and is expected to survive. State Police said the Western District Major Crime Unit was called in to investigate at around 10 p.m. Police have not released the name of the suspect or the officer involved. And the Norwalk Police Department detectives are investigating a bank robbery that occurred Friday at about 10:05 in the morning at the Webster Bank located at 402 Connecticut Avenue. The suspect entered the bank and passed a note. The suspect indicated that he had a weapon but did not display one. Once the suspect obtained money, he fled on foot to Stop and Shop, where he entered a vehicle and fled the area. The suspect is described as a black male, about 50 years old, medium build, and approximately 5'6" tall. He walked with a cane in his right hand and has a large gap between his top front teeth. Anyone with information is asked to contact detectives at 203-854-3180. And in other news today, Fairfield police are investigating after an electric motor scooter collided with a cyclist at the intersection of Commerce Drive and Black Rock Turnpike on Sunday morning. Preliminary investigation revealed that the cyclist was traveling eastbound on Commerce Drive. A 49-year-old male from Bridgeport operating an electric motor scooter was traveling westbound in the eastbound travel lane when it collided with the cyclist. The operator of the motor scooter was transported to Bridgeport Hospital, and the operator of the bicycle was transported to St. Vincent's Medical Center, both as a result of their injuries sustained during that crash. The case is currently under investigation by the Fairfield Police Crash Reconstruction Unit. And in Darien, more than $2,000 worth of painting materials were reported stolen from a newly constructed Greenleaf Avenue home on July 25th. A total of 11 5-gallon buckets of paint, valued at $1,500, were stolen from the house, along with 2 stepladders and spackling tools. The materials were found missing at about 4:30 in the afternoon on July 25th, but had last been seen 2 days prior. The paint drums had been located just inside the garage entrance, which had been left unlocked. Contractors working at the house told police that $500 worth of copper had also gone missing about 2 months ago, but they hadn't reported it. And the Stanford Advocate reports that the sound of gunfire in a drive-by shooting was a sobering moment for a group of people leaving a West Side bar early Sunday morning. 3 shots were fired from a black Honda outside the Discovery Cafe on Stillwater Avenue at about 2:30 in the afternoon on Sunday, according to Lieutenant Dietrich Hohn. No one appeared to be injured in the shooting, the latest in a surge of gun violence on the west side of Stamford and the 20th overall shooting in the city since March. Hohn said police did not find any victims in the area and no one sought treatment for a gunshot wound at Stamford Hospital. Some tragic news out of Ridgefield. Justin Cowan, the student at East Ridge Middle School who battled bone cancer for 2 years, died from the disease late Wednesday night, August 3rd, according to his family. Justin's battle with osteosarcoma inspired supportive efforts from many Ridgefielders, including penny wars and head shaving at East Ridge Middle School, caroling singing outside his house back in December, and more recently, the Cruisin' for Justin car show in July. Justin did the honors at the ceremonial lighting of Main Street's holiday lights. Services for Justin are being held today, Monday, August 8th, for family and close friends. According to the Justin Strong GoFundMe page, a memorial service for the broader community is planned Thursday evening at the Lounsbury House. And NBC Connecticut reports that a Connecticut teenager who posted online videos of flying drones, shooting a gun, and a flamethrower in his backyard is going to court to fight his expulsion from Central Connecticut State University. A state judge in New Britain is set to hear arguments and testimony Monday in the case of 19-year-old Austin Hagwood of Clinton. He's suing the university in an effort to return to school. Hagwood claims he was expelled on bogus threatening allegations by school officials who were really concerned about the drone videos. School officials deny Hagwood's claims. They say he was expelled for making threatening statements and gestures toward other people on campus. The Federal Aviation Administration has subpoenaed Hagwood and his father in a federal court case for information about drones. But we're going to switch gears now and throw it over to Frank Granito for a look at the forecast. Frank, good morning.
Thank you, Kate. Good morning to you, too. Absolutely beautiful outside. Another gorgeous summer day is underway. Expect temperatures in the mid to high 80s with plenty of sun and a couple cloud covers moving into the afternoon. It'll be clear skies tonight, though, and temperatures will dip down right around the low 60s. Tuesday should be just as nice outside. Plenty of sun throughout the day and temperatures in the upper 80s with low humidity making it very comfortable outside. Clear skies again Tuesday night, temperatures down around 70, high 60s that night, and we'll get ready for Wednesday, which looks to be a little hotter. Humidity will be up, so we could see temperatures get as high as the low 90s, and there is a chance of a thunderstorm or two rolling in after we have a nice clear morning with plenty more sun. So one of these days, Kate, it will rain again, but
we keep talking about it and then it doesn't happen.
At least be comfortable out. The humidity's down. Should be a great next 2 days.
All right, awesome. Thanks so much, Frank. Well, we're going to take a break. When we come back, Frank has a Nutmeg Sports update. Donna Lang joins us for a look back on this day in history, and we have a lot more news coming up after this. Have a sports injury or a slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast, without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care, open Monday through Saturday, now in 2 locations. The iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk and 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien. Or go to coastalorthoexpress.com, like them on Facebook.
Walter Stewart's Market in New Canaan is your time-saving local shopping destination for the best of spring. Find many of your favorite products, from great specials on everyday items to the freshest organic produce, artisanal cheeses, and grass-fed steaks. Drop off your knives to be sharpened, grab a beautiful bouquet of spring flowers, and stop in next door for a wine tasting. Plus, their personable staff is always ready to lend a helping hand. So stop in to Walter Stewart's Market, 229 Elm Street today, or shop online at stewartsmarket.com.
What's happening up in Hartford and what's trending in the Nutmeg State?
Join Kate Czaplinski
And Josh Fisher
on CT Pulse live Wednesdays at 12:30 to find out.
We talk to the leaders and newsmakers while breaking down the stories you should be paying attention to each week.
With the help of HAN's editorial cartoonist Doug Smith, we take a humorous look at the news of the week. We talk about everything you were told you should avoid bringing up in polite company.
CT Pulse, Wednesdays at 12:30 on the HAN Network.
You're watching the HAN Network, and you're not alone. More than 1.5 million viewers have watched our live sports, news, and entertainment broadcasting since the network launched in August 2015. Advertise on the network that reaches Fairfield County, Connecticut's most engaged audience. Contact Advertising Director Jessica Murrin at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
We're back on this Monday edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. Getting back to a little more local news today. Tomorrow, Tuesday, August 9th, is primary day for some area towns who will head to the polls to choose their candidates in a few upcoming races. Ridgefield Republicans will go to the polls to choose a candidate for judge of probate for the Northern Fairfield County Probate District, which includes Ridgefield. Daniel O'Grady, former Bethel judge of probate, and Patrick Walsh, a Ridgefield attorney for the past 23 years, are seeking their party's nomination. Aside from Ridgefield, that district serves Reading, Bethel, and Newtown, and the winner of the primary will face Democrat Sharon Dornfeld of Ridgefield in the November general election. Stratford voters will also be going to the polls on Tuesday to choose a Democratic state Senate candidate. Democrats in the 23rd Senatorial District will get to choose between incumbent Senator Edward Gomes and party nominee Dennis Bradley in the primary. The 23rd District covers all of the 3rd Town Council District, portions of the 2nd and 4th Council Districts, and the east side of Bridgeport. Polls will be open from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. Only registered Democrats in the 23rd District may participate. And in Shelton, incumbent Republican State Representative Jason Perillo, who represents the 113th District, will be challenged by Planning and Zoning Chair Ruth Parkins. But of course, you can get more information on all of those races at your local HAN Network community news site. And Hearst, Connecticut media reports that a 19-year-old Fairfield teen is in custody after he allegedly beat his girlfriend so badly he left her with a concussion and bruises around her neck. Christian Giorzi was picked up at his Pope Street home at about 4 a.m. Friday and charged with second-degree assault, second-degree strangulation, as well as unlawful restraint, reckless endangerment, and disorderly conduct. If convicted, he faces up to 5 years in prison for each of the assault and strangulation charges. Police are still trying to piece together the details of the incident because the victim, also 19 years old, lost consciousness in the ambulance on her way to St. Vincent's Medical Center. Officers were called to the victim's home by her parents. Her face had massive swelling and she had multiple injuries to her face, lips, neck, chest, and upper arm. There was dried blood around her nostrils and her left earlobe and the bruising around her neck, according to the police report. And in Milford, 2 houses on Hill Street dating back to the 1800s have survived hurricanes and blizzards, but will soon feel the claw of a backhoe as they are torn down to make way for condominiums. Local historians have decided not to fight to save the 2 houses located at 67 Hill Street. Retired city historian Richard Platt wrote in a recent email that the houses are not located in a historic district, nor are they listed in the city's historic resources inventory. The consensus, according to Platt, seemed to be that it's not worth fighting over. We need to save our ammunition for significant fights. Commenting on the main structure, which is 2,100 square foot home built in 1868, Platt wrote that architectural historians would call it 19th century vernacular with Greek revival elements. He said the veranda and bay windows were probably added later in the 19th century, noting that this was typically done during the Victorian era when people considered the original designs to be too plain. And in other news today, the Darien Parks and Recreation Department will have limited lifeguard coverage at Pear Tree Point and Weed Beaches for the rest of the season through Labor Day due to a lack of available and qualified lifeguards. Signs will be placed at both beaches notifying the public as to the dates and hours of lifeguard coverage. Guarded swim areas will be determined by lifeguards on a daily basis. The Parks and Recreation Department apologizes for any inconvenience this may cause and reminds all patrons that they should always exercise caution in any aquatic environment. Well, we are going to throw it over now to Donald Eng to take a look back on this day in history, August 8th. Don, what do you have for us?
Well, it was a momentous day in presidential history, but first we're going to go back to history class, sort of. 1876, Thomas Edison receives a patent for the mimeograph machine, that most beloved of elementary school devices for over a century. If you don't know what one is, ask your parents. The smell of the ink and the ka-chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk sound meant you were getting a handout. The mimeograph and its cousin, the ditto machine, has since been superseded by the photocopier. 1885, 1.5 million people attend the funeral of President Ulysses S. Grant in New York City. Grant's body was laid to rest in Riverside Park in a temporary tomb, and then 12 years later, in the General Grant National Memorial, also known as Grant's Tomb. The tomb is the largest mausoleum in North America, and who's buried there? No one. It's a mausoleum. He's above ground. 1969, we go. At a zebra crossing in London, photographer Ian McMillan takes the photo that would become the cover of the album Abbey Road. The photo shoot only took about 10 minutes, but it had a long-lasting repercussion for the owner of that white VW Beetle there. He had his license plate stolen about a dozen times in the following years. Also, the man standing on the curb to the right, that's American tourist Paul Cole, who glanced to his left to see what the commotion was. Note also that as the Beatles walk across the street, Paul McCartney is out of step with the others. That actually mirrored the recording studios the other Beatles hated Maxwell's Silver Hammer, which they regarded as granny music. Finally, now we go to 1974 for this.
To continue to fight through the months ahead for my personal vindication would almost totally absorb the time and attention of both the President and the Congress in a period when our entire focus should be on the great issues of peace abroad and prosperity without inflation at home. Therefore, I shall resign the presidency effective at noon tomorrow. Vice President Ford will be sworn in as president at that hour in this office.
After stating that he is not and never has been a quitter, President Richard Nixon resigns the presidency effective noon the following day. Let's see, not a quitter, he's not something else. Anyway, that is your look back in history for today, August 8th, and I'm Donald Ng.
All right, thanks so much, Don, as always. Getting back to a little more community news today. The Easton Farm Tour, which returns on Saturday, August 20th, offers the opportunity to learn about and sample the many farm products Easton has to offer and find out how they are grown. The event is a celebration of Easton, the first farming community north of Manhattan, according to the event's organizers. Admission is free to the event, which runs from 10 to 3. It's a self-guided tour of Easton Farms that begins at the Easton Firehouse Green at 1 Center Road. Visitors check in and pick up a map and pass to events and incentives offered by farmers and community organizations. There will be tastings, pony rides, an antique farm tool exhibit, old-time fun and games, as well as a petting zoo and greenhouse tours. However, there's a lot more on that event at eastoncourier.com. We're going to throw it over now to Frank Granito for a Nutmeg Sports Update. Frank, I know there's some big announcements coming today.
There are, and before we get to that, though, let's start down in Florida, Kate, where after being rained out on day one, the Norwalk 10-year-old All-Stars are underway at the Cal Ripken World Series. Unfortunately, the Norwalk team split its opening 2 games after falling to Poughkeepsie. They bounced back with a big win on Sunday, and they prepare to continue pool play against Arkansas today at 1 o'clock. We'll have more on the Norwalk All-Stars on Coffee Break at 2 o'clock. Staying with baseball. Yes, got me. No. Staying with baseball, Fairfield American Little League team lost its opening game of the New England Regional Tournament in Bristol. Fairfield opened tournament play against Bedford, New Hampshire that is, on Sunday afternoon and lost 7-1, dropping them into the losers bracket. Fairfield will now play tomorrow night at 7 o'clock and awaits the loser of the Rhode Island and Maine game. Finally, congrats to Omar Fort of St. Luke's, who committed to the University of Connecticut for football on Sunday. The 6'1" defensive back originally began his high school career at Stanford High, but transferred to St. Luke's as a sophomore. Omar's older brother, Kyrie, played football at Penn State before being drafted by the New Orleans Saints back in 2014. We wish Omar the best of luck both this year as a senior and next year at UConn. That's going to do it for this Nutmeg Sports Update, but be sure to tune in at 2 o'clock today, where Donald Ng and I will be announcing the first month of our fall broadcast schedule. Kate, back to you.
All right, I'm looking forward to that, Frank. Well, we are going to step out for a break, and when we come back, I'm going to recap some of the top stories we're following today on your coffee break after this.
For more than 50 years, Triple S has been Fairfield County's expert service for carpet, upholstery, and drapery cleaning. We provide the best in repairs and in-depth restoration, understanding fabrics and how to properly clean and restore them. Our staff will come to your home to clean your wall-to-wall carpet to perfection. We can also pick up your fine carpets and bring them to our facilities. With locations in Norwalk, Stamford, and Stratford, Triple S will get the job done fast, big or small. At Triple S, you can count on our people as well as our cleaning.
Find us at triplesclean.com or 203-847-8000.
I really wanted something that felt like a home. Coming from a big house, I wanted the feel of a home as opposed to a condo. New Canaan is 6 minutes down the road. New Canaan's a beautiful little town to walk around. I work in Westport. My commute is 20 minutes. It's close to Westchester, where my family is, so the location is ideal. There is no other townhome that compares in the area. This is where I want to be.
At Cabbage Patch Nursery School in Ridgefield, playtime is learning time. Using out-of-the-box activities and programs in science, dance, Spanish, Taekwondo, and so much more, learning is made fun. Aside from interactive classrooms, our center features a sensory room, computer lab, and a large outdoor space for playtime fun. Our carefully chosen staff believe in a supportive, safe environment and keeping you updated on your little one's experience. Cabbage Patch Ridgefield, helping shape your child's future. 29 Farrar Lane in Ridgefield. Call 203-340-1250 to register today.
I'm John Kovach. I'm a newspaper editor. I'm a high school football coach. I'm a television presenter. And I want you to love fishing as much as I do. Tune in to Yankee Fisherman, Thursdays at 1 on the HAN network. It's like going to the tackle shop without leaving your office.
I'm Frank Granito.
And I'm Donald Ing for the HAN Network.
Tune in to Nutmeg Sports Monday through Wednesday, where we bring you all the top stories for Connecticut sports.
From players and coaches' interviews to expert opinions with local sports editors, no one gets you closer to Connecticut's games than Nutmeg Sports.
Nutmeg Sports, Monday through Wednesday at 2 p.m. on the HAN Network.
Today's coffee break is brought to you by Laurelton Hall in Milford, Connecticut's first Catholic college prep school for girls. Laurelton Hall fosters a culture of achievement where a girl's accomplishments are what matters. Through a challenging and supportive environment encompassing academics, arts, athletics, community service, and many other co-curricular and fun-filled activities, each girl has opportunities to discover her own strengths and talents to become an independent, creative thinker. She will always be your little girl, but Laurelton Hall can give her the foundation she needs to become a strong, confident woman. Open houses are scheduled for Sunday, October 2nd, and an exam date is set for October 15th. Find out more at laureltonhall.org. We're back on this Monday edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network, recapping some of the top stories that we're following today, including that Connecticut State Police are investigating an officer-involved shooting in Stratford and said a Bridgeport police officer is involved, according to NBC Connecticut. Police said a woman led officers on a stolen car chase from Bridgeport to Stratford on Sunday and wouldn't stop. The chase finally ended in the parking lot of a junk hauling business on Seymour Street, and the officer shot at the suspect, hitting her once. She was taken to Bridgeport Hospital and is expected to survive. State Police said the Western District Major Crime Unit was called in to investigate at about 10 o'clock yesterday. Police have not released the name of the suspect or the police officer involved. The officer was not injured. And Norwalk police are investigating a bank robbery that occurred Friday at about 10 in the morning at the Webster Bank located at 402 Connecticut Avenue. The suspect entered the bank and passed a note. He indicated that he had a weapon but did not display one. Once the suspect obtained money, he fled on foot to Stop and Shop, where he entered a vehicle and fled the area. The suspect is described as a black male in his 50s with a medium build and approximately 5'6" tall. He walked with a cane in his right hand and has a large gap between his top front teeth. Anyone with information is asked to contact detectives at 203-854-3180. And Fairfield police are investigating after an electric motor scooter collided with a cyclist at the intersection of Commerce Drive and Blackrock Turnpike on Sunday morning. Preliminary investigation revealed that the cyclist was traveling eastbound on Commerce Drive. A 49-year-old male from Bridgeport operating an electric scooter was traveling westbound in the eastbound travel lane when it collided with that cyclist. The operator of the motor scooter was transported to Bridgeport Hospital, and the operator of the bicycle was transported to St. Vincent's Medical Center, both as a result of injuries they sustained during that crash. That crash is currently under investigation by Fairfield Police. And in Darien, more than $2,000 worth of painting materials were reported stolen from a newly constructed Greenleaf Avenue home on July 25th. A total of 11 5-gallon buckets of paint valued at $1,500 were stolen from the house, along with 2 stepladders and spackling tools. The materials were found missing at about 4:30 in the afternoon, July 25th, but had last been seen 2 days prior. The paint drums had been located just inside the garage entrance, which had been left unlocked. Contractors working at the house told police that $500 worth of copper had also gone missing about 2 months prior, but they hadn't reported it. And the Stamford Advocate reports that the sound of gunfire in a drive-by shooting was a sobering moment for a group of people leaving a Westside Stamford bar early Sunday morning. 3 shots were fired from a black Honda outside the Discovery Cafe on Stillwater Avenue at about 2:30 in the morning, according to Lieutenant Dietrich Hone. No one appeared to be injured in the shooting, the latest in a surge of gun violence on the West Side and the 20th overall shooting in the city since March. Hone said police did not find any victims in the area and no one sought treatment for gunshot wounds at Stamford Hospital. And some tragic news out of Ridgefield. Justin Cowan, the student at East Ridge Middle School who battled bone cancer for 2 years, died from the disease late Wednesday night, according to his family. Justin's battle with osteosarcoma inspired supportive efforts from many Ridgefielders, including penny wars and head shaving at East Ridge Middle School, carol singing outside his house back in December, and more recently, the Cruisin' for Justin car show in July. Justin also did the honors at the ceremonial Ridgefield lighting on Main Street. Services for Justin are being held today for family and close friends. And according to a Justin Strong GoFundMe page, a memorial service for the broader community is planned Thursday evening at the Lounsbury House. But you can get more information at theridgefieldpress.com. Let's switch gears now and throw it over to Frank Granito for a final look at the forecast. Frank.
Thank you, Kate. Sunny today with temperatures in the mid to high 80s and some occasional clouds moving in the afternoon. Clear skies tonight. Should cool down to right around 60 degrees. We'll see a lot of the same tomorrow. Clear skies, low humidity, temperatures in the mid 80s. Heading into Wednesday where we'll see humidity up, temperatures right around 90, and there'll be a chance of a thunderstorm that afternoon.
All right, Frank. Well, I'm looking forward to Nutmeg Sports at 2 o'clock. Again, you're going to be announcing the first month of our fall schedule.
We will. It should be very exciting. We'll say where we're opening up, what games we'll be covering, and we're going to be all over the FCX, so it's going to be a big day.
Awesome. All right, well, that's coming up at 2 o'clock. We're going to wrap things up here on your coffee break, of course, but we will see you tomorrow at 11. Have a great Monday.